Hey, hi, hello, warriors. New camera in the clubhouse. What up, what up, what up? And as promised, it's time to update you on the Anaya Rashid Muhammad Zulu situation. He has responded to the allegations that have been levied against him, and I got a few criticisms. But before we get into the statement and the criticisms, my name is Dan Frampton. This is my YouTube channel. Likes and subs, let's go. If you comment within the first 3 hours, I probably will reply. Highly likely. It's no longer a guarantee. It's just highly likely. Yesterday we went over the entire statement that outlined the allegations levied against the Zulu frontman Anaya Rashid Muhammad. Go back and watch that video if you want all the juicy context, but don't worry, I'll get you up to speed quick as frick. Anaya is the lead singer for a band called Zulu, and over the last couple years, they've kind of gained prominence within the hardcore scene, slowly working their way up the bill in a system built against them. Watching them kind of climb the ranks in the hardcore world was an inspiring thing to see. Most hardcore frontmen want to look as cool as possible, or as tough as possible, but Anaya went in a little bit of a different direction. This guy wore bright colors and Hello Kitty t-shirts and that kind of thing. That was the vibe he brought to the front of the stage. And in early March 2025, an ex-partner of his came forward with allegations detailing abuse, manipulation, coercion, and one really specific, highly detailed event that alleged that Anaya allowed somebody into his and his partner's home to bust into their bedroom while they're naked, threaten them, beat them up, and film it. I went into all of those details in that situation in yesterday's video, so if you want to hear all about it, I really do recommend you go back and watch that one. When I saw that the allegations came out, I made the video about it, I talked about it, I gave my little opinion about it, but at that point, I hadn't heard from Anaya. There was no statement there whatsoever. But literally the moment that I uploaded it, someone made me aware that there was a response. So it is absolutely my responsibility to give his side of the story and his response as well. But just a spoiler, I have already read it and I do have criticisms, but for now, enjoy this mid-gameplay as I read the statement to you, completely uninterrupted. I want to address the false and deeply troubling accusation that has been made against me. Forgive me if my words aren't perfect, as I'm trying my best to navigate my speech. I wanted to put this out immediately, but did not want to leave a lackluster message. First off, I want to start by saying that I categorically deny ever engaging in any form of physical abuse. Violence towards anyone, especially partners, is completely against my values, and I would never harm anyone. As a person and as a Muslim, my faith and my morals guide my actions every day. Islam teaches respect, integrity, and accountability. I strive to uphold these principles in my life. I strongly condemn any form of physical or SA, and I would have never engaged in such atrocities. The claims against me are not only untrue, but are also deeply damaging to me, my loved ones, my band, and those who have supported me throughout my life. Furthermore, I want to make it absolutely clear that I have never engaged in any form of coercion, manipulation, or isolation towards this individual. At no point have I ever tried to control her environment, interfere with her personal life, or restrict her in any way. I have also never encouraged or allowed anyone, friends, acquaintances, or otherwise, to harass, intimidate, or gang stalk her. Any suggestion that I have done so is entirely false and contradicts the values that I live by. After our falling out, and for context, we were not in a romantic relationship, and I was upfront about this, as well as communicated with each other on that understanding. I made every effort to keep my distance from this individual out of respect and to avoid further conflict. Despite these false accusations, I have remained committed to resolving matters in a mature and dignified way. I even attempted to mediate through an imam, offering an opportunity to have respectful and neutral conversation to resolve discrepancies we had in our overall communication. However, she was not willing to meet, and I respected that decision without further pursuing it. I am fully prepared to defend myself against these claims and will cooperate with any necessary process to clear my name. I trust that the truth will come to light, and I deeply appreciate appreciate those who continue to support me during this difficult time. Okay, and there it is. That is the statement, and it has a couple things that I would expect, and then a couple things that are missing, and then a couple things that are added that should be really not here. Now, I understand that you want to get out with your statement immediately. It must be a crazy situation to have all this happening online directed towards you. But right now, I just gotta criticize this statement, because if you really want to come across as open and honest and that you want to have this conversation, turning off your comments like Anaya has done in this post actually says the opposite of what he said in his statement, making this automatically hypocritical right off the bat. I want to have these conversations, but not here. I want to have these conversations, but not in public. Well, I'm sorry, Anaya. It is public now. It is all out in the open. And turning off the comments like this optically is a huge misstep by you. And it's clear you're in a hardcore band. You didn't seek out like PR. You didn't go to like any counseling like that. You didn't seek media training. You just put the statement up as hastily and as quickly as possible because you feel like you've been backed into a corner. And that's what it smells like over here. Now, moving on to my second criticism, and this breaks my heart to say, but what this reads like is, I can't be guilty, I'm religious. I'm a religious guy, guys. I wouldn't do the thing that my religion says that I wouldn't do. I'm a good person doing good person things by being a religious person, and religious people don't do bad things. That's how this reads to me, and to me, that's a bad faith argument. That is just putting a guilt-ridden straw man right in the middle of your statement, when really you need to be addressing the victim, you need to be addressing the situation, and you need to be talking about what the people are talking about. You need to have the conversation that is being had. You can't really just pick and choose what parts of the conversation you want to have. The accuser's statement I read, and it took me like 25 minutes just to read through. Anaya's statement, I breezed through it in 2 minutes. So using religion as a shield and turning off the comments really aren't the best look, guilty or innocent. And I know a lot of people out there are going to be like, innocent until proven guilty, innocent until proven guilty. Well, guess what? I'm not the police. I'm not a judge. This isn't a legal thing, okay? This is the court of public opinion. This is the clubhouse of Dan Frampton's opinion. And my opinion is this isn't a great statement. But those two criticisms that I just gave you are the softball criticism. Those are the low-hanging fruit here. There is a more egregious, more subtextual, more nuanced criticism that I have about this, and that is Anaya didn't address the one main highly detailed event that was outlined in the other statement. He didn't talk about bringing another person and their family into their home to beat up his partner. He didn't talk about the 14 cop cars that showed up to the residence. He didn't talk about the displacement of people. He didn't talk about the former drummer. He didn't talk about any of the stuff that was in that statement. He glossed over it and was just like, I'm religious, guys. The drummer quit the band? I don't know anything about that. That has nothing to do with this. Well, if it has nothing to do with this, tell me that it has nothing to do with this. Why didn't you mention the drummer? Anaya, you are accused of recording somebody's conversation without their consent and used that recording for your benefit. And I will reiterate, it is a recording that you allegedly took without consent. It would be really nice if you addressed that in your statement where you're addressing the allegations. If you weren't gonna say anything, you shouldn't have even said anything. Putting this up might have been even bigger of a mistake than just staying completely silent through the whole thing. Because now it looks like you are hiding things. You're omitting huge parts of the allegation, you're hiding comments, and you're putting up the shield of being a Muslim. I'm religious, guys. Allah would never allow me to do that. And I'm sorry, if anybody else is buying this, that's fine. And if you don't see those criticisms that I'm outlining right here, or if you see them and it doesn't bother you, that's interesting as well. But I believe all my criticisms are extremely valid when it comes to this sort of thing. As somebody that frequently follows these kinds of situations on the internet, this did not satiate me as a response, not by a long shot. I am not here to determine if someone is guilty or if someone is not guilty, but this is extremely suspicious looking. If my eyebrows were already raised, now they're clear on the back of my skull. And speaking of that former drummer, he posted to his story the following. Thank you for all reaching out yesterday. I appreciate everyone checking in, but I wasn't the one being really affected. My friend was and still is. I want the focus to stay on being supportive of my friend who was harmed and get her the love, support, justice, and healing she deserves. I'm not one to enable shit like this. Been raised by strong women and continue to surround myself with strong women. Also, what I did was not admirable. It's the bare minimum. I'm just calling out the bull, and I hope y'all continue holding people accountable even after this. Shout out Who is Simpson for being brave enough to share. You big dog. So Anaya, are you actually going to address the allegations anytime? Are you actually going to talk about the statement? Or are you going to keep dodging it? Or are you going to keep hiding behind a shield? Or are you going to keep virtue signaling? I'm a big moral boy that only does good boy things. Oh, okay. Then address this. Take accountability like a grown-up. Did the situation with the 14 cop cars happen? I don't want to make a meme out of this because it is such a serious situation, but literally talk about the allegations. I'm really sad about all this. This is super disappointing. I was really hoping to fire up my camera today and just be like, hey guys, Anaya took accountability for the stuff, and now it's going to be about growing and healing and fixing what has been broken. But that is not the story we got. He did not take accountability. He quite literally denied that any of that happened without actually talking about any of it. And in his statement, he's like, I want to have these conversations. I need to be held accountable, but then he seemingly runs away from it all. Well, buddy, I go live here on this channel very frequently, and normally I don't take callers. Normally I don't do interviews, but Anaya, if you would like to come onto the stream and address the allegations for real and sit in the hot seat like a grown-up, then the invitation is open. All you gotta do is jump into chat, let me know you're there, and we'll work it out. I'm not gonna scream at you, I'm not gonna bully you, I'm gonna ask you the questions, and I'm gonna expect you to sit on twos and to stand on business. And judging by that statement that you just dropped, Anaya, you definitely do not sit on twos. Well, warriors, that's his statement. Those are my criticisms, my opinions about where all of this is right now. If your opinions are a little bit different, I completely understand. This is like a very serious situation and there's gonna be strong opinions either way. But if you think that this is a good statement, I need to know your reason why you think that this is a good response to the allegations. And not just, oh well, tee-hee, I like band, doesn't matter, haha. And also, don't go into it blindly either, being like, these guys always sucked. Try to engage with the situation that's actually happening. You don't need to extrapolate about anything else other than the points that are being made in this video, and believe me, there's a fair amount of them in it to engage with. But I'm gonna hop on my American-made, rev the engine, and drive into the sunset for now. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, likes and subs, let's go. And until my next upload, watch another upload. Okay, goodbye, see you later, and have a good one.